John J. Hooker, the Democratic nominee for the gubernatorial race here in the state of Tennessee. And of course, Mr. Hooker, we certainly appreciate all of that information that you've given us, but let's look at where you are now in the political arena, and to give you an opportunity to say something about what you consider to be, over the last 5.5 or 6 minutes that we have here, to say something about your campaign ideas, and what you project as the ultimate outcome of what we're about here for the last 6 minutes here.
I'm happy to do that, but I do enjoy talking about Bobby and Hubert and Martin Luther and those people that I think stood for something in America. The evolution of freedom in this country took the Civil War to make it so that black people could vote, the 15th Amendment. Then in the 20s, some gallant women got involved and created the circumstance for women's suffrage. And then the war came along in '68, and they were sending these kids over there to fight in Vietnam, and we changed the Constitution again, so that now we permit black Afro-Americans to vote, we permit women to vote, and we permit 18-year-olds to vote. The problem is that those votes are meaningless as long as campaign contributions are sort of a reverse poll tax. What they do is campaign contributions segregate political power based on money. When Bobby was the Attorney General, I lived at his house for about 6 months and got involved in a case as a special assistant to him involved Baker versus Carr, which came up from Tennessee, and got the Department of Justice to get into that case. And that went to the Warren Supreme Court, and turned out to be the one-man, one-vote case. My real ambition, Doctor, before I die, is to get back to the Supreme Court of the United States in the case of Hooker versus Sundquist. There is a case now pending. And to determine, ask the Supreme Court to say again, what does one man, one vote mean? And I say it's got to mean equality, it's got to mean justice at the ballot box. It doesn't do you any good to believe you're going to get justice in the courts or justice in the legislature or justice in the governor's office unless you have justice at the ballot box. The problem is today we have injustice at the ballot box. The people who have money are able to sponsor candidates. People who are super rich are able to run and buy public office, whether it's the Frist or the Bredesons on the one hand, or for that matter the Kennedys or the Rockefellers or whomever on the other. We have to, for America to have its full glory, we've got to see that the rich people can't buy public office, and that the people who have special agendas can't hire lobbyists and can't give campaign contributions to the detriment of the people who are the ordinary Americans. So my election here between Governor Sundquist and me, who is a very nice man, I like Governor Sundquist, he is the typical fat cat. He believes in capitalism to his core. He believes that the people who are rich ought to be able to give campaign contributions, and they ought to be able to give it to him, and he ought to be able to raise $5 million, or for that matter 10, and he ought to be able to put these ads on television and be reelected governor of Tennessee, sponsored by the rich people. I've come to challenge him. I want to have a hassle with him out the castle where he lives. As Muhammad Ali says, I want to have a thriller at the villa right here in Nashville, Tennessee, between Governor Don Sundquist and me. And I want to pit the underdogs who I represent against the fat cats who he represents, and see who in America should be in charge. I say that the agenda should be set by everybody, should be set at the ballot box, that the people in America who are the backbone of this country, the ordinary American, should not have their votes debased, and the people who are rich and wealthy shouldn't have theirs enhanced. That you and me, unfortunately, neither one of us can be Michael Jordan or McGuire or Sosa. I mean, God didn't give me, anyway, the ability to be Sosa or Michael Jordan or McGuire, but he did give me the ability to be a full-fledged citizen and to fight for the country and to fight for citizenship. And that's what the fight's all about, is for the equality of citizenship. And so what I'm doing is dedicating the end of my life here. I'm in the fourth quarter of life. I'm 68 years old, but still energetic, still impassioned. What I want to do is something for my country before I die. I didn't go to Vietnam, and I don't have to walk around lame. But before they put me in the grave, I want to have the feeling that I have done more for the country than I have done up till now, though I have tried to do something in the past. But now I believe that I have the energy and the know-how to sell the people of Tennessee on the idea that the time has come, that we've got to put justice at the ballot box as the #1 thing, that the time has come when we can change this system, which is broke, The time has come when we can have a better America where the people's agenda is put on the table and not the agenda of the special interest. And so I decided to run for public office and see what I can do about that. And I'd say this to you, Doctor. I may not get elected, but there are a lot of folks that are for me. And a lot of folks who believe in what I'm talking about. They believe the system is broke. And I believe I'm going to get a lot of votes. And as the campaign goes on here in the next 6 weeks, it's not inconceivable that we could pull this thing off and win it. But whether I win the governor's office or not, so long as I'm alive, I'm going to follow Churchill's advice, and he gave the Englishman in the Second World War. Never, never, never quit.
That's right.
I'm going to keep on fighting until I get to the Supreme Court of the United States. Until I make the Supreme Court of the United States says one man, one vote means everybody stands equal at the ballot box.
Very good. Mr. John J. Hooker, let me thank you for coming by and giving us that information about all of the information that you've given us. You've just given us a treasure trove of information today, and we certainly would encourage you in the efforts that you're putting forth, and I think it's clear that you're involved in what you're involved in much more than for the sake of an office. I think you want to leave a greater legacy than simply to say that you have held office. I think you've been involved in just a whole variety of things. And again, let me thank you for coming by, and let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you, and good morning.